That's what my mom says every New Year's.
This
is going to be the best year ever.
Remember when I said that and had such regrets? Then that went, it was like
2020.
Yep. Man. But not this time. We already know what we're getting into. This time we mean it. And this does feel like a new, fresh start.
I like that, Sarah.
I'll be in a new city. It'll be fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah. You know, I was listening to when I was on the podcast Astrology with Andy, and he did my astrological chart, and he was like, everything changes for you after the full moon in December. Guess what day I moved?
When?
The day of the full moon.
I hate when they're
Coincidentally,
right.
I didn't know that. I looked that up afterwards. After I had already, I was like, I wonder when
I'm like accusing you of
I was like, I wonder when the full moon is. I was like, oh my God, what are the chances? He was like, this is going to be like a fresh start, and you're going to be more in line with your like authentic life. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, starting fresh in 2022.
It's amazing because you've never lived anywhere but California, right?
I know.
Except for real world, but
I will say I'm a little bit nervous. There's a part of me that's kind of nervous that it feels like, because there's this weird thing about leaving California where it feels like if you leave, you can't come back because you're almost like priced out of it. Like I can't afford to move back into my own apartment with how much it costs now.
Wow. Oh, they raised the rent.
Yeah.
I see.
By like $500. That's like a significant portion of the rent that went up.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. So that was kind of felt like, well, this is, but I am much closer to you, which is nice.
I was going to say next stop.
Yeah. Pittsburgh. Yes. So
I'm excited for you. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I have high hopes. I think you're going to love it. I mean, basically.
I think so. I'm going to love it. I'm
so
like geared up with a winter wardrobe. I did get a little bit of pushback on my boots because I learned that the color of my shoelaces was not okay.
Sarah, that annoyed me though.
Susie, that annoyed me. Can we take a moment to just talk about that?
Okay, so Sarah posted this picture of her boots to be like, yo, I'm ready for Colorado or something. And then all these people started saying like, oh, you probably want to change those laces.
Yeah.
Claiming what?
They said, and then somebody just wrote skinhead. And I was like, what? So then I had to Google this.
Yeah.
And Googling it took a while. Like it didn't come up right away. It wasn't like the first, you had to kind of dig a little bit. And I learned that bright red laces on Doc Martens are like a symbol of, it's like a skinhead.
White supremacy or something.
White supremacy. These were not Doc Martens, and they were maroon laces. But I don't want people even questioning that. And I was married to a Jewish man. I'm not anti-Semitic.
Some of our best friends are Jewish.
Right. I felt like, man, not even my footwear is...
I'm not,
but I don't know who I'm mad at. Like
I'm mad at the people saying it, and I know they're probably really nice, well-meaning people that genuinely just don't want you to walk around with any kind of hate symbol. Yeah. But I always feel like these sorts of things, these like allegations about dog whistles, in this context, they take away from the actual real problem of white supremacy and racism. And, like, if you're focused on what color people's shoelaces are, maybe, that's not the biggest thing.
Look at my actions. Mm-hmm. What actions, besides tying my shoes, are
It's not that I don't think this is real in some way. But, now no one can wear red shoelaces on boots? I mean, come on now.
And it's like, I didn't put those in. They came with the shoes. That's what color laces come with these hiking boots. They're work boots.
Yeah.
It was like, and then I'm like, But I like this brand. But, you know.
Please tell me you're not changing the laces.
I did change the laces.
You didn't. Well, hey, you may be, better safe than sorry.
Well, I will say they came with 2 sets of laces. So it wasn't like I had to go out and buy them. I just put in the ones that are like the classic.
White supremacist set.
Oh, God.
Liberal set.
Yes, the liberal set or the racist white supremacist set.
Right, anti-racism.
Right? I just couldn't. Oh. So, But I still really, really like those shoes.
Yeah,
I'm just going to keep wearing them, and I'm just going to.
I can't believe you've even entertained this nonsense.
Well, this, oddly enough, isn't my first go-round with this. And when I was in England, I got a tattoo on my wrist that was my initial, my family, all the people in my family, my mom, my brother, 2 brothers, and me. And I had it was cherries with a little banner. And the banner had 2 levels, like 2 lines. And it said, I got our initials, Sarah, Sally, Jordan, and Luke. So it said SSJL. On the top, it said SS. On the bottom, it said JL. I just put them in the order of age. Mm-hmm. I had 2 or 3 people say, SS is like, it wasn't written in lightning bolt style. It was like old English, like traditional tattoo style. But after the second or third person, after the second or third person said, are you affiliated with white? I was like, fucking A, and I got it covered up.
Yeah,
because I don't want anybody to even question that. So this felt similar, and it felt like the same. And I didn't even want to have any of that feeling of am I doing the right or wrong thing in my heart for even a second like I did? Because the intention is so not that, the accidental dog, I don't want that at all. So
I understand. Yeah, and if you think better safe than sorry, sure. But I do have a little bit of eye rolling that goes on about the keyboard warrior people who are
yes,
they act like they're doing you some big favor by just so kind of
yes.
Well, I mean, I told you about the ear piercing at the mall.
Yes.
A couple people were concerned that because I used a gun on my ears. And, I get it. If you genuinely think I will get rabies or whatever, I don't know what people think is going to happen. But, it's all good. Everything's okay. Yeah. But it's always well-intentioned, I think. I don't think these people mean anything.
I know they don't. But, it's just I mean, Elise, who took our photographs in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
A woman of color
I know, I saw
on mine, and she was like, those are badass. So, right above somebody calling me a white supremacist is a woman of color saying, those look awesome. And I'm like,
But that's what I mean, that people that are the ones that are victims of all these terrible things, they are not focused on what color your laces are. They're just trying to survive.
Yes. Right? Yeah. That was in my mind, I was like, thank you. That made me, that was
That's exactly right. It's the policing of each other. Women do the mom thing. Just so you know, you should be using SPF 50, whatever.
I coming at that from a therapist perspective. We see what this is, right? This is a way for the individual to relieve. This is essentially triangulation. This is a way for the person who's the keyboard warrior to relieve a little bit of the anxiety that they may feel about some of the unintentional microaggressions or whatever that they may have committed themselves. And so if we can point out the behavior in others, it either forgives, this is all happening subconsciously. We're not consciously going out to do it. People think sometimes when I explain these things that this is we're aware that we're doing this. This is the person running the show in our brain whose only job it is to make us the best and never do anything wrong. That's the person who's running the show. Yeah. Everybody's got this person.
Yeah. And I
just have to sometimes not listen to them.
I just feel anytime you might consider like policing somebody's choices that really kind of aren't that consequential, especially when it comes to like parenting or whatever, or like their body or health choices, maybe just don't do that.
Yeah, and you never know the full story, or you never know, like, the lighting could be bad. Those are maroon laces.
She's still talking about those laces. I love it. Oh, okay. Let me take a minute to encourage people in this new year to sort of take control of your financial situation. I always feel like this is
a resolution for you.
Yeah, like this is such a good time of year to like get your ducks in a row. Yes. And there is a company called Chime, which I would highly recommend. Great checking account with no monthly fees.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's got a great app. In fact, it's award-winning. I remember when I was in high school, we had lunch. There was a lunch called the award-winning steak hoagie. And I always wondered, like, what award it won. And anyway, like, what was it, like, best sandwich, maybe?
That's so funny.
I don't know. Okay. But they have no overdraft fees, foreign transaction fees, monthly fees, or service fees. Hello.
Oh, I love no foreign transaction fees.
That's what
traveler.
I'm saying.
Yes.
It is really handy. Such a great app. You can send money to anyone, even if they aren't on Chime. Fee-free for you, no cash-out fees for them. It's really, really handy. So kick off 2022, get a better checking account, make your first good decision of the new year, and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up. Takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/braincandy. That's chime.com/braincandy. And here's all the fine print. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Get fee-free transaction at any MoneyPass ATM in a 7-Eleven location at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Otherwise, out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Sometimes pay anyone. Instant transfers can be delayed. The recipient must use a valid debit card or be a Chime member to claim funds. Woo! You always have to
I always thought that I'd be really good at those parts because I can talk really fast.
Yeah, you're like the Micro Machines guy.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't have a gift. Next time I'll make you do it.
I do. I part of me, it's like that auctioneer thing. I was like, yeah, I really want to. Just give me that. Let's see how fast I can do it. I want to time myself.
We'll see how
okay, moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
So, this is pretty interesting. I found a list of, in celebration of the new year, and you know how I like to do we like to do kind of like a little wrap up. This is, what did we search in 2021?
Oh, as a society?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think this might be around this is the world. So this isn't just in the United States.
Okay.
So, a lot of these surprised me, and a lot of them were more hopeful and optimistic.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that is shocking.
Right. So, one of the number one ones, the first one is, this is kind of sad. Well, no, actually, that's the last one. Hang on, let me go to the beginning. Let me make sure these are saved in the wrong order.
Are there any foods?
Oh, no. There are no foods, oddly enough.
I was just curious.
Yeah. So one of the things that was one of the number one top searches, K-pop had a really big year this year. And apparently how you say how to say I love you in sign language was one of the number one searches, because that's a way that K-pop idols have incorporated a lot of sign language into their choreography. So that was one of the number one searches that people wanted to know, like what that was.
Wow.
Not related to number one searches, but a little aside on the same topic of sign language. Another story has come out about a woman who's doing sign language during one of these political press conferences, and she's signing gibberish.
Why do you mean another one? I have never heard this.
Oh my God, Susie, you don't know about this? This has happened multiple times.
Shut up.
I swear to God. And then people from the ASL community are like, she's essentially signing like jingle bells and like weird fucking shit. This has happened, and they're in big arenas. Like sometimes it'll be for something like, I want to say one of them was for like an awards show, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something.
what
this
in
is
the world?
How have we never talked about this in 500 and whatever episodes? I've never talked about the bullshit sign language people.
No. I am in shock because how would they, do they get hired because people just take their word for it?
I think so, yes. They claim that because the people who are doing the hiring aren't hard of hearing. They aren't deaf.
They are not sign language fluent.
There's nobody, and why this has happened multiple times, and oh my God, now I want to like look up this story.
I can't believe I didn't hear about this.
Signing, woman fake signing.
What a shame.
This was like, there's been.
Did they think they weren't going to get caught? No one would
Woman
notice?
arrested, Tampa police spokesperson on fake signing interpreter. That was in 2017.
I mean, I don't think she should be arrested. I mean, that's a bit harsh.
That is kind of a bit harsh. Of course. Whoa!
What's the crime?
Oh my gosh, this is crazy. She was arrested at a news conference regarding the arrest of a suspected serial killer. She was fake signing after the arrest of a serial killer.
What is the crime that she's being charged with? That makes no sense.
Oh, you're right. What could it be?
Just being
let me
a
see.
jerk? Because I have some other people they could arrest.
Oh, it said that the press conference was put together so quickly the department didn't have time to get an interpreter. She said the finger movements didn't mean anything, hence the deaf community was being left out of important information. She waved her arms around like she was singing Jingle Bells. McGregor informed the authorities they were looking into it, how she found out about it, or if somebody hired her to come to the conference.
Okay, so maybe the crime is that it's a violation of the American with Disabilities Act. But I would think that would just be a fine, not like handcuffs.
Wow.
That is so fascinating and hilarious, but not. I mean, it's terrible.
Like, I'm going to send you, and I will definitely send this to Dahlia to put in the newsletter so you can see the video of her signing because she's good at faking it. Like, you know, when people are really good at like lip syncing when they don't know the words and they just like get up. I would say maybe I'm kind of good at this. Like fake it, like do the big. Yeah, right. She's doing like.
She should just learn.
I was like, damn, she should just learn.
It's probably the equivalent if you faked like a speaking French and you just were really convincing at it.
Yes.
That
like
is
Madonna.
So...
But not French.
That was English.
I know.
Wow. I mean, but truly, do you think she thought she would get away with it? No one would notice? I love it. I love it so much.
There's also a part of me that thinks maybe, could it be? I'm going to have to dig in more on this and find out. Because, you know, if you were to go to, say, France and sign using ASL, it wouldn't translate as well. Like there's different signs in different countries. So maybe this was almost like maybe somebody she knows is deaf and they have like their own way of communicating. That is...
Yeah, okay, but...
This is a stretch. This is a really big... But you wouldn't sign up and you wouldn't know... Right.
She's working as an interpreter.
Right. I'm again, giving the benefit of the doubt.
Somebody hired her and... She applied for this job. I love it. I love it. Thank you for giving me this gift.
That's why I was like, wait a sec. There's something important I need to tell you about the sign language first.
Okay, yeah, you were just talking about K-pop. My God.
Right. So back to my list of things that were the top searches in the world. Mm-hmm. So second one, affirmation.
Oh, man. Okay. So
Get ready for these. It's going to be a lot of those.
Specific ones?
No. Just more of that same kind of in the genre of what this is. You can tell what we as a world were really craving.
Yeah.
So affirmations, that was most searched, believe it or not, in Kazakhstan. It's a random place for that.
That's so weird.
Another thing that was really popular, there were more searches for sea shanties, which is essentially like house by the ocean. Than any other time in Google's trends history. I think this is like we need to like get out of the city and like that desire to isolate and move away from people. That you know, and that's why I think we're seeing kind of like this rise in more of these like van life kind of thing, because we almost have to, because nobody who can afford the like living in a city either. We have to kind of
like what I don't get though is why everyone knows this is how it is, that like we are in a dystopia and that the system is rigged, and a lot of the things that like were true, you know, like the American dream are now obsolete. And I just wonder why it doesn't encourage a shift in voting. But then I remember that's rigged too because of gerrymandering and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
and what they're prioritizing, and we go to like, what's it called? Life. What the hell am I thinking of? Roe versus Wade. Help.
The Supreme Court? Abortion? Pro-choice?
Yes, pro-choice. Thank you. My brain like went like I was like giving me all of the things around. Yes, it did that. I was like, life. Yes. Did I really say life?
Yeah. We got there though. We got there.
I did. Oh. Yes. Pro-choice.
I just want everyone to know, like, minorities and gay people are not the problem.
Right.
And frankly, neither are abortions. And if your life is miserable, I promise you, it's not those things causing it.
Right. Oh,
So,
nobody's
you know.
stealing your jobs. Huh. Yeah. So, sea shanties, that searched. Following the viral movement of Bernie Sanders sitting in the chair with his arms crossed, mittens was searched more than ever worldwide.
I looked up those mittens at Christmas time because I was like, maybe I need those.
Oh my God. That is so, you contributed to this search.
But they're expensive. They're like $75, those babies.
Oh, for the ones that are the handmade from.
Yeah.
Those are expensive mittens.
If they're warm, then I guess it's worth it. But like, I don't know that.
I mean, Bernie looked pretty toasty.
Yeah, he looked real comfy.
Yeah. I love that.
Mittens.
I love when people put that meme, that image in our
that
picture.
Had a good
it's
run.
so funny.
Yeah.
Yes. It's kind of like, you know how they said there's that run of jokes where it's like, you've heard of Elf on the Shelf. Now try Bob on a cob. You know, it's like Bob Ross on a cob of corn. I freaking love those. They crack me up.
I mean, it is more evidence of our dystopia. We're like, this is going to take my mind off of the hellscape for
I'm
5 seconds.
Fay on some hay. Ha ha. So stupid.
Everything's terrible.
God.
It's great.
Oh, okay. Some other things on the list. This one totally makes sense. How to start a business is more commonly searched now than how to get a job.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, I guess we all know how to get a job. We just don't want them because they're shitty.
Right. Yeah, at $15 an hour with a master's degree.
Hard pass.
Hard pass. I'll start my own business things.
Like analogy, which was saying how, like, you know, you hear there's a worker shortage. And they said, okay, let's say you order 5 burritos from the Mexican restaurant, but you insist that it has to be delivered by a clown on a unicycle with a purple nose.
Yeah.
And then the burritos never come. There's not a burrito shortage. There is, you know, you aren't asking for the right stuff. Like the employers are like, where is everybody? I'm going to pay you 3 cents and give you no benefits and make you work in evenings and weekends.
Right.
There's not a worker shortage. There's just people not wanting to
job
put up
offerings.
Right. They'd rather be poor.
Right.
And I don't
This is
blame
not
them.
helping. And I mean, as somebody who's worked in community clinics and with people who are trying to, like, I've worked with clients and trying to get Medicare and things like that to cover, you know, therapy and things. I have had situations where I am working with somebody and it is more beneficial for them to be unemployed and get the care that comes with that than for them to get a part-time job anywhere. They lose everything and they can't, it doesn't work. It doesn't. Yeah. So in order, God, I've been in that session before where we're looking at the numbers and it's like, I want to get a job because I want to be able to feel that kind of sense of accomplishment and all that stuff. But I will lose everything if I do.
Right.
That's a messed up system.
It's not great, guys. It's not great, everybody.
Oh.
It's so funny. Last year when I did the poll at the end of the year that said, like, do you have any suggestions for us? And one person said, like, I wish you guys were more political like you were in the beginning. And I was thinking, I'm not doing that. Well, turns out, apparently, we are. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost impossible not to, because now it's just become human rights stuff. And like, oh, do you need to be able to live? You know what I've thought about my resolution for this year. Mm-hmm. It is to tip more.
Oh, what a great one.
Yeah, because I wanted to do something that wouldn't, and you and I, like off the podcast, have talked about like how I have a weird fucking relationship with money where I always am like scared it's not going to be there. And what difference really does $1 or $2 make to me in, I'm lucky to be able to say that. But I think that in the service industry and things like that, that does make a difference. So I am making my, and I already tip 20%. Like, it's not like it's more for things like DoorDash, like delivery stuff, where I feel like the company's getting them. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to add an extra charge on this. But I'm going to just start to do that.
Yeah.
And just see, and it's kind of like maybe like a Buddhist kind of philosophy of like, let it go and then it'll come back to you kind of thing. Or maybe like not having attachments to it.
Well, that's a nice resolution.
So that's my resolution for the year.
I love that. I just am, my theme for this year is it's the year of art.
Oh, I love that.
You're funny. You love it every year.
That means I get to come museums. Well, yeah, because they've been great. Music, humor, art.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I want to like bring all the good stuff. Last year was love.
Oh, love. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Friendship and connection. And yeah.
But yeah, I think that if you can like make your resolution or whatever sort of
I love art. That's so cool.
Something that just brings good stuff into your life like yours is going to do. I mean, it's such a gift to be able to give to people. Mm-hmm. And it's a gift to be able to enjoy art. Yeah. By the way, Sarah.
Oh, yes, I love whatever you're going to say next.
You were polite when you described the immersive Van Gogh experience. That was a shit show.
Tell
for me.
Tell me.
Well, you were like, well, it was nice, but it was like, it seems expensive for what it is.
Yes.
And whatever. I mean, that is the understatement of the year. I could not believe what a scam it was.
Wow.
And maybe, different cities, there's different levels or something.
I think that I didn't feel as much that way because I didn't pay for the tickets.
Okay.
So it was my aunt who got them, and she's like an art docent and everything, so I didn't have that same. If I would have shelled out, what is it, $100 and something? Mm-hmm. Oh, that would have killed me.
I was furious.
And did Lincoln go too?
No, just me and Adam. But that made it worse because we don't go out alone ever. Oh. And so my mom was watching him, and so that was supposed to be really special.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go home. I'd rather be in bed. I think I stayed for 15 minutes.
No!
Yeah. I was so mad. Because it was a joke.
It's basically projected,
Yeah. I mean, I knew the gist, but just like the way it was done. And like, did they give you like those things to sit on?
Well, I got to sit on a chair. I got to sit on like a cushion. They had these.
Yeah. Oh, like a cushion on the ground. Like.
But it wasn't on the ground. It was like a square.
A seat of some kind.
Seat. Yeah. But like 4 people would sit on the same one.
Okay.
Like backs
this was
to
all
each
just
other.
like cushions. And it was bad. And I just felt bad for people that wanted to have an art experience and then were like bamboozled essentially. Because they spent all their budget on marketing to get people there. And then it was just like, here's a projector.
It's so like the original one was projected in a cave. I want to say it was in Spain. Mm-hmm. And you got the sounds of the cave. You got I mean, that would have been amazing. Mm-hmm. Because it would have, and like just the texture on the walls, I think was designed for that. this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it could have been
imagine.
great. It just wasn't. They just didn't care enough to make it great.
Did you have a cool entrance? Like you walk in and it's like looks really cool, and there's like a hallway that's
not
feels
really.
Like you're in a.
It was super cheap thrown together.
Wow, that sucks. I would imagine the LA one may have been a little more higher production value.
I'll tell you what is valuable.
Yeah, tell me.
Taking your vitamins every day, Sarah.
Yep, having a good ritual.
Having a ritual. I mean, isn't now not the time? Come on.
Yes, fresh start.
Fresh start. Take your vitamins. Get some protein powder. Come on. You know you're doing the whole thing where you're like, this new year, new me. Okay, prove it. Yeah. Prove it, people.
And it's amazing how just adding one thing, just do one small thing. Yeah. Like you always say, rising tide floats all ships.
Yeah.
It's amazing what having a regular routine of remembering to take your vitamins every day.
Yeah, you're just on the right track. That's why I always talk about flossing, too. It's just like a small thing.
Yes.
It's no big whoop.
Totally.
It doesn't take a lot of time and not a big commitment, but you will feel better.
Not like going to the gym where you actually have to like do some work.
Yeah,
this
no
is
thanks.
Like, pop,
yeah.
done. And they don't even taste bad.
They don't taste bad. They don't upset your stomach. You will thank me. Ritual is the way to go. Why not shake up your ritual? Try to make something new, less scary. Ritual offers a money-back guarantee if you're not 100% in love. Plus, our listeners get 10% off during your first 3 months. Just visit ritual.com/braincandy to add essential protein today. That's ritual.com/braincandy.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm sorry to go on.
No, I want to hear all. Please, I spent a significant portion of time talking about sign language interpreters. So.
Yeah, so anyway, if you still have the opportunity, don't go to see the immersive Van Gogh. Just go to the museum.
You know, I really do think that if it were $20, $25, then it would be fine.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the price that it should be.
And even like the museum
like
is
going
cheaper
to the movies.
than that. Yeah.
It should be like going to the movies. It's essentially what you're doing.
And museums are not like these profit-driven things. Right. So I would rather support them than these venture weirdo Fyre Festival crap.
I went to one that was by the same people who do like the Electric Daisy Parade or all those like kind of like EDM house music things in Vegas. And it was like a light show and you would drive through it. And it was $75 a person. Not a car, which is weird. Like why it was per person, not per car when you drive through is really annoying to me.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was per person.
I mean, that'd be some light show. Even if it were for car, that's a lot.
It was still, and I remember feeling that, like, it took maybe 25 minutes to drive through there, and it was like, that was cool, but like I'm not on mushrooms right now, so this is like.
Well, and you can't be if you're driving too. So it's like, what is the point of that?
I was like, it felt like you could almost get this same similar thing if going to the Christmas light shows that some of those houses put up.
Yeah,
that are free.
I love how bitter we are this even in the new year.
Right. Well, it's just like, oh. That reminds me. Oh, we're doing one of these. Okay. We're doing one of these. The latest, I almost said episode. The latest edition of Rolling Stone magazine was so good.
Okay.
I don't read that as much, but there was an article in there. Oh my God. I want to get through this, and maybe I'll have to save it for another episode. But that was so fucking good. But one of the other articles that was in there was on this company called, I think it was called like Culture 360 or something 360. That's basically a VIP ticket service company that like, we offer you the VIP experience and da-da-da-da, who's like totally scamming people. Like one guy paid $20,000 to meet Taylor Swift. And like these guys, like the CEO is so gross and is so like, it's one of those Fyre Festival kind of like whole deals. And it just feels like this, it's another example of that kind of like Fyre Festival kind of like white guy who's just like getting away with scamming
it's
people
like
and like selling.
Scheme,
yes.
But for, instead of money, it's like, like
clout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. To get like access
to
people and stuff.
And they would do these like really scammy things where like they offer, I think it was like $54,000 or something like that, where it was supposed to be VIP access and backstage access to Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Fallon, and something else. And what they did is somebody who was like a friends and family of somebody at Saturday Night Live sold their ticket. Meanwhile, Saturday Night Live has no affiliation with these guys whatsoever, but they're claiming that they do. The ticket was free, so they get it, and then they sell this big thing, and then when the guy's like, hey, where's my backstage access? They're like, oh, sorry, you can't come back here right now. Something's going on and blah, blah, blah. And then in the bylines, like a really small fine print on the contract, it says, basically they can't guarantee that any of these backstage things will ever happen.
No.
And so these people get scammed for like they had been selling Lady Gaga tickets, and then Lady Gaga's people like heard about it. So they were selling tickets that I want to say it was at her Las Vegas or something like that, where tickets right next to the drum set, like by the stage, were selling for $7,000 a piece. That was like regular, which also fucking, are you kidding me? Why are tickets to anything that expensive?
Who wants to sit by the drum set anyway?
Right? Like, oh, and to get hearing loss, I'm going to pay $7,000?
Yeah.
So he ended up selling those. So they have a deal with, and this is kind of interesting to learn about the ticket selling, it's like the resale and how companies sell resale tickets. So they have contracts with the artist, and the artist says you can resell these tickets, but only for 10% more than the actual ticket cost. Mm-hmm. And if you go anything over that, then you have to report it, get approval, and then you have to pay, like split the cost with the artist, which makes sense. This is they're putting on the venue. This other guy's essentially a fucking middleman. And he ended up selling that ticket for what was the equivalent of 72% of a markup. Can't remember the actual number, but it was something like 17,000 or whatever it was. But then they caught wind of it and they ended up like suing him or whatever. But this company is in like 3 different lawsuits. And then they're talking about the CEO, and there's a woman who's suing them right now, or like filing a lawsuit. Multiple people who claimed that, and there's a photo of it, that this CEO would give, would lead meetings with his hands down his pants as he was like touching himself.
Oh my God, this took
like
a dark turn.
Like not even,
I didn't see that
not
coming.
even in a way that's like sexual, but just like feeling like you have the right to just do what, like that entitlement. Oh God, I wish. I'm gonna send you the picture afterwards. This guy that just like grabbing his junk like in the middle of a meeting. I was like, this is so fucking
real?
weird. Yes. Oh my God, I'm gonna show you it.
I don't like it one bit.
Yeah, and I was just like, I can't even believe that why these guys don't get shut down faster. Like, that's the part that really drives me crazy, is that this is something that goes on. I'm going to send it to you right now, Susie. Boop. Boop. And then maybe you can do the screen share thing so we can put it on our Patreon. Can you see that?
I always fail it. Ew, gross. Ew, yeah,
Isn't
I know
that fucking gross?
I know that kind of guy. Where they just sort of like, it's a power move more than a sexual thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what a lot of sexually violent acts are. Like,
that's what's that saying? Everything's about sex except sex. That's about power.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So this guy falls into that. But isn't that gross? That kind of...
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's gross, especially because I'm like, oh yeah, I know that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like we all know kind of guy like that.
And I was just reading another article about Elon Musk and how there's sexual assault stuff coming out about him and the kind of environment that, and it just, I feel like it's like this guy, this CEO, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, like it's this type, this like, and we're allowing, it's so gross.
Yeah, it does make me mad.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so what is Rolling Stone saying about it? Like, is anything going to be done? Is this company going to be out of business?
Yeah, I mean, they're well, it's just like that Fyre festival guy who like goes and then starts it up somewhere else where it's like, you know, one of those kind of things. And it's just really gross.
I'll tell you what's not gross.
Yeah, tell me, please.
It's funny to me every time.
Right.
Is Noom and the awesome way that they can help you reach your goals. I'm sure you guys have goals for this year. And Noom can keep you on track and empower you with information, which I love about it. 75% of Noom users finish the program. It's a cognitive behavioral approach to habit change, which is great. And it's all about like peer-reviewed scientific journal articles and stuff like that. Like this isn't just hocus pocus. This is them trying to say, here's how your brain works and here's how you can reach whatever goal you want. I love Noom. I think they're great. You guys should sign up for your trial and get psychology-based support and motivation to reach your goals at noom.com/braincandy. That's noom.com/braincandy to sign up for your trial.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, what else,
okay,
Sarah?
Yes. So that I had to, that was like a little aside. I mean, oh God, that story and just that type of guy. I'm going to compile all of my thoughts and notes on this.
Okay.
And cause there's another story that is just fucking blowing my mind that I can't even, I need a whole episode to dive into.
Wow,
and plus it's not a, let's start the new year nice with some.
Well, a little late for that, but okay.
I know, but a little more. Okay, back to our list. So, this one was really sweet. This and also shows that maybe we all need a little hug or something.
Yeah.
This year, soulmate was searched more than ever before across the globe.
Wow.
Soulmate.
Oh, that's so
because we're lonely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Don't you think that's it?
You know, like when you think about the virtual reality movement and, you know, the fun that can come with that, the other side of that is this sort of false connection.
Correct.
At the expense of true connection and how people, maybe they don't even realize that they're missing that in their life. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's a real loss that we don't have those communities anymore and that those aren't really where we put our time.
You know, I when I'm working with any clients, especially like if they're new clients, one of the things that I think is really important to highlight are the strong relationships where they get to be, where you get to be the most yourself and the most vulnerable and, that is like the most unconditional love where people are really like accept you for who you are. And there's a woman who developed a system, like a number system called Dunbar's number, Dunbar's theory, about how many relationships we can even maintain. Mm-hmm. It is 5.
Yeah. I remember hearing
there are
that.
5 people that we are supposed to be able to, which I think is interesting that number, that Japanese, you know, where they say 5 friends that it's kind of like perfect, that there's like a reason. And that we can't even as a species or as a being maintain connections with, like really authentic connections with more than that, because it takes too much and we can't, you know, do that. Mm-hmm. So I think the idea that connection comes with the bigger number of followers, or that somehow the more people we are connected to online will make us feel more connected is not the truth. Mm-hmm. It's a quality over quantity thing. And I think that the social media movement has really changed that for people, or like made it seem like it's different.
Yeah. That's for sure. And then it's just like tons of people you really don't even know.
Right.
There's been several people that I'm friends with that have had like babies and changed spouses, and I just like didn't know, even though I follow them on social media. And so it's not what it sort of pretends to be.
Right.
Because some people just don't share everything either, you know? Like, it depends on what people tell you. on there.
There's this like, I think even that feeling that we're supposed to be, you know, caring about or aware of all those different changes and other people's like that becomes overwhelming.
Yeah.
How can you care about what's going on in your own if it's like spread too thin?
Well, there was an article in the New York Times that I saved, but I haven't read yet. But the gist of it was what you're saying, that like we were never meant to be close with this many people.
That's what I'm saying.
There's too many people, and yeah, you're spread too thin. So then you don't have any real deep ones. It's just like all surface across.
Yeah. And then there's a higher chance of rejection when you are trying to, you know, like we say, if I ain't your cup of tea, don't drink it. Well, you know, when you go offering it to everybody in the world, chances of them being like, no, thank you, you get more of that. And then then there's this feeling of rejection, but then makes you want to reach out more to these people that are not really fulfilling that need. It's like this self-perpetuating cycle that just like, it gets really dangerous. So like, that's why I try to get away from all that and go with, okay, what are those 5? Let's work on that little unit. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is really difficult to do in, like you were saying, this virtual reality world that tells you to do the opposite. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we're going to have 2 different splits. There's going to be this embracing that future in the virtual reality world, and then people who are going back to like a more like natural and holistic way of living.
Yeah, like 2 extremes though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because to me it feels like, the only way we could do it is just give everything up and like I always say, what is my Sunshine Farms commune?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I get the urge, and I know that that's a lot of people have been thinking about, you know, just moving into the country and disconnecting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Moving to a sea shanty.
Shanty.
What else? So this one is nice. How to conserve was at an all-time high worldwide.
Good.
Impact of climate change was more than ever, with Fiji being the place that searched most often, which feels like maybe we should look at the climate change that's happening in Fiji, because like I feel like you're searching this in places where they're maybe seeing this.
Well, that's what really is disturbing about climate change, is how the people that are the most responsible and the corporations and all that in the first world are not the ones that suffer the most consequences from it. And it is, you know, the racism of, you know, climate change is a real thing. Environmental racism, because the people that have to live near the factories or whatever, their consequences are so much worse than the wealthy people who are consuming, buying everything, all that jazz.
The home prices below sea level are much more affordable than those above.
Exactly.
Yep. God, that's
it's not
sad
evenly
and scary.
Distributed. I mean, it can get anybody if you get hit by a hurricane or something, but just in general, statistically.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
why are we so dark
3 more
today? This is terrible.
Well,
we're supposed to be hopeful.
I know, but like, it could be hopeful. There's some hope peppered in there.
Okay.
How about this one? Around the world, body positivity was searched at record heights.
Okay.
That's promising.
It's promising. Yes. I have seen.
I have something to say that I noticed that this is like what we're doing this whole episode. It's like, this reminds me of this. Okay, I'm mad about something and it goes in line with body positivity, and I feel like once you see it, you'll never be able to unsee it. When I went on oldnavy.com, these sections are,
let me guess,
men's,
overalls,
boys, girls, women, and women plus. There is no men's plus size.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't realize this until I saw it, and how you can click on women/women plus. There is no such thing as men's plus size in That's a fucking... I mean, I don't think it should be like plus any, like it should just like, you should just be a person
women,
and that's
or
like just
whatever.
women. But the fact that we have it for women but not for men, help, Susie.
No, I know.
This is the thing.
I know.
I'm mad about this.
Yes.
How come I've never heard about this, or nobody? We've never seen this.
Well, we've talked to brainiacs have written about it, and there's been articles about it that I've read. But like,
so it's just me.
The closest we have would be like Big and Tall stores.
Yeah, but big and tall. Who's mad about being big? That's literally the description. Tall, dark, and handsome. You're just like missing out. You're basically saying that.
Yeah. No, I know.
Fuck that.
But why?
Why? That's. I have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm. But who do we consult?
What that does to a woman and a man who's looking at that like a larger man is okay and acceptable, and you're in the men's section. A woman who's any size that's larger than this is, you get your own size. Fuck off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're like relegated to the
and
the big girls table or whatever.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it sucks.
I couldn't believe it when I learned that. Or
that's
when I saw
why
it,
when you said body
positivity.
What?
What?
That's why when you said that, I'm like, yeah, that's good that more people are embracing that mindset. But the supremacy, it's like the thin supremacy is just like not going away.
Right. Yeah, just because we search for climate change doesn't mean that we're curing climate change. Just because we search for body positivity doesn't mean that we're, things are changing. And I mean,
you'd think that it would because of the percentages. Like, it's not a small minority of people that is bigger or whatever. But the power is with the traditional white, Anglo-Saxon, blonde, blue eye thing.
Yep. Hate it.
Yeah. And with a thin, able body.
Yeah. I hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it. Last two on the list. What is retrograde? Was searched more than ever. Which, again, remember how we were talking about wanting the explanation for, like, kind of like, I think it was last episode we were talking about wanting the explanation for how, like, conspiracy theories become popular, and how I feel like when the world is going to shit, we're like, let's just blame it on Mercury and retrograde. And then people are like, shit, what is retrograde? So I can blame it on that.
Yes.
I've heard, and I don't think it's just because, like, I've embraced my witchiness, but I've heard people say, oh, Mercury is in retrograde more this year than any time ever.
It feels like it's always in retrograde. Like, you guys are always saying that.
Yeah, well, it's pretty often in retrograde.
Like, how often is it in whatever that is?
Pretty often, because it's like, it's Mercury is the closest to the sun. So it's how that's orbiting the sun, and it in relation to our orbit, there's a point where it looks like it's traveling backwards. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with its orbit around the sun. So however many times like for us, it's one, year is one time. But I think theirs is like 2.5 or something like ours. So you get Mercury in retrograde that many times a year.
I said, like how you said theirs. Instead of
theirs, you're right. Like the people living in ours. I mean, like our planet there. I know. Who's they?
Well, so do you, I know you say it a lot and it's like a funny thing, but like, do you believe this is consequential to your life? She's thinking about it, you guys.
No, but in the same way that there are more babies born on full moons, there are more car accidents on full moons, there are things that happen when, there are forces that are, and I actually mean forces like gravitational forces, like not like spiritually force, like real forces that affect the earth, and that celestial bodies do impact those things anecdotally and, in ways that we've been able to measure. So I think that it could be something like that. But I also think anytime you have enough people believing anything, that we are the manufacturers of our own realities. And so in the same way that they've been able to study, researchers have been able to study like the effects of prayer and even just like thinking and seen effects of that I think when a lot of people believe something will work, it kind of is the placebo effect, that it will work.
Like self-fulfilling.
And so, yeah. And so I'm like cool with that. You know,
just
if we all are, you know, if we believe that this does that for that long, then yeah, that's going to work. And yeah. I don't think you should like base your life around this.
I should say not.
But like maybe do things like double check when you're booking airline
Really?
Because it's weird how things will go wrong. Like it just makes logistics harder. I don't know why. And whether this is all just like in people's heads or not, fine. I don't even care.
This is your better safe than sorry thing, just like the laces.
This is my better safe than sorry. Yes.
Let's wind it down in the new year, man.
Let's wind it down. Well, this is a perfect way to end because the very last thing on the list is the word Y2K was searched more in 2021 than ever before. So we're winding it down with...
wonder why.
I do know why. With my theory... the rise of 90s fashion and everything being like Y2K fashion. And I think the millennials or younger people are like, what the fuck is Y2K? Because they weren't even alive then or were like 2. And so they are like Googling Y2K because we're calling it Y2K fashion, Y2K style. Yeah. And I think people who don't know that reference need.
That's depressing.
That's my theory.
Yeah,
do you think that's a good one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know they were calling it that. Because
it's the same as like people searching for like I love like this. I think about like who's doing a lot of these Google searches. Yeah, and it's like younger people asking.
They need explanations for like things they hear or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. What is this? You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes.
That was revelatory. I cannot believe all of those. My wheels are gonna be turning about all that. The soulmate
all the stuff
one.
We searched for. I know.
That's going to hit later.
Yeah, there's like, and I read that, there's like a lot to process in that about what that means. Each of those things kind of mean something.
Do you feel like we're soulmates?
100%. I know that we were supposed, oh my God, that makes me want to cry right now because I love you so much. I know that we were supposed to meet and be friends. And you know, they say like your soul is connected to like 8 other people that you kind of journey through this life, not just like this life, but like all different times with, where like maybe one time we were siblings or maybe one time you were my parent and like, you know, or some other lifetime. Like, but I know I have a feeling that you and I were like, because don't you feel like when we met, it was like instantly I knew this is like my person.
Yeah, it was instant. And I always say how, because I love like Quantum Leap and movies about like sliding doors type of thing.
Yeah.
And how, you know, Kara was supposed to go on that show.
Yeah.
And then backed out at the last minute and I was her replacement. Yeah. And then I met you. I won. I met Adam.
Yep.
My entire life changed because she decided not to go on the ruins.
There was a whole bunch that was very serendipitous about that. Yeah. Even like Diem wanting to go home, I really would have been gone first. Like I was supposed to go in that first one, as all rookies do. But Diem needed to go home, so she was going to go in, told me she was going to throw it.
Yeah. She was very open about that.
Yeah. Because Diem threw it, it was like smooth sailing for me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even have to like fight my way. And it felt like there was a whole bunch of things that happened that were just like...
Those kind of things freak me out. Yep. Like the what ifs of like... Sometimes they're very great and sometimes they're very terrible, but...
And they were even like little things. Like she chipped her tooth, but she was like, oh, it's fine. My dad's a dentist. And I was like, oh, that's fine. Or like something where like somebody is a dentist in her family. And it was like, no, where like part of me felt so guilty that like she's doing this and then she like hurt herself or like I don't know. I felt some sort of, but then it was like, oh no, even that, you don't need to worry about that, Sarah. Like the universe was like, no, taken care of. Yeah. Minor, you know?
Well, it's lucky that all those things worked out because otherwise that show would have just been, trauma only. So
right.
it's good.
Yes. So yes, we are soulmates.
And she does not have a racist tattoo.
The world needs a hug. Yeah. I don't have a racist tattoo. The world needs a hug.
World needs a hug. But I feel a little guilty about how much I love that sign language kerfuffle.
Oh, when I show you the video, you're really going to love it because she's so committed to her. She is a true method actor.
I almost couldn't imagine a situation where we accidentally get put in that position where we have to, pretend. And so, I love imagining how she got herself in that situation.
You could see her thinking how she's going to do the next word.
So
there's one where it's murder, and she's like...
No, you guys couldn't see that, but it was very
stabby.
funny. Just take my word for it.
Yeah, you guys want to sign up for Patreon?
Yeah, the video's on Patreon
right
just for that moment. Well, any hoodles, we love you guys, and we're so thankful that we get to have another year with you. Yes. I am very excited about all the stuff we are planning for this year. It's going to be very fun. And, just stick around for the ride because it's going to be a hoot and holler.
Woo!
Happy New Year, everybody. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.